Let's see, how many people do we got here? Well, we got 13, 14 people altogether.
Woo woo.
Should we just get down to it?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Let's do what we're gonna do. Yeah.
Down. Oh my God, you said that at the same time I did.
Get down, get down.
Get down.
All right.
Get down and get funky. Act like a monkey.
So I guess who's got anything they want to report that they've been working on? It's Maker Meetup, right?
Well,
That is the gist.
You know what? We've been doing kind of a non-stop maker meeting ever since High Fidelity's announcement.
Yeah, I've noticed that every meeting we have is essentially the same meeting. Just
yeah, which is cool, right?
All hands on deck.
One thing I would really like to check in with Tara, about Project Apollo, if she has anything to say about that.
I'm mostly just still looking through the domain endpoints still.
Okay. Where I would like to get involved. So I mean, it would be good if, like, I don't think we have do we have a Project Apollo channel on the Discord?
I don't think so.
Maybe we should make one.
We really need one, I think, because it's like there's no place for us to talk right now about what you need and what you're up to and your methodology and all that fun stuff. So that other people can get involved. Yeah. Because
And I would really love for other people to get involved in it too.
well, I forked it and I've been looking at it, and right now it's nice and clean and pretty, but you know, it's yeah, it needs love, obviously. And
well, I would hope.
I mean,
it's
how
nice
how
and
are you
clean.
doing?
I try to keep things readable.
Yeah, awesome. How are you doing the reverse engineering?
It's coming along. I'll say that. There's a few
Okay.
endpoints that reply different values depending on the input. So some of them give you different responses entirely. So just have to find what the responses are and record the formats. But that's all.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of inclined to ignore both the commerce and marketplace endpoints.
I so far have not added those because I'm ignoring them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be relevant to what we're doing, as we've already said in the last meeting or two. It makes more sense to just kind of let
One
people make
of
up their own
them-
solutions to, that kind of thing.
Right.
Then they can accept
One of
whatever
them,
currency, and then the impetus is on them.
Yeah, one
Sorry.
was required, unfortunately, to be added just temporarily so that logins would work.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has to send you the balance or whatever. I just set it to 0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's okay to have stubs for that kind of thing, but it's like nothing to see here, right? I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean the user endpoint seems to be I've been trying to poke in through the code. Like I just grepped through the code just to find like all references to metaverse and to the metaverse domain, and then like to like API/v1, which pulled up a lot of stuff. And it looks to me like the user endpoint has a lot of stuff.
It does.
There's also users.
Thankfully,
places.
the user endpoint was so much easier to track down than all of the domain ones.
Yeah, the domains I'm having a hard time, and I think I'm going to have to dive into the actual C++ and see if I can't wrangle out exactly what's going on there.
I've been doing that in combination with developing it because you kind of can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
The C++ tells you a lot more about what the expected values will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so far all I was able to dig out was for the domains endpoint was there's a temporary thing. You can feed it in an actual domain ID, and then there's a way to set the ice server address.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't found yet is where the ice server gets set in the domain server code. So still looking for that.
No, maybe that's something other people could dive in and help with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Project Apollo. I mean, we need love for this, especially if we
who's-
want it to be an actual metaverse API
yeah.
as opposed to just
I'm probably going to give that a try as well, by the way. So do tell me if there's anything you'd like looked at. I've been having a couple things that I've been looking at here, but I'm getting a little bit stuck. So Apollo might be a good thing for me to take a look at meanwhile, while I rethink my approach and so.
Who has the ability to add channels to the Discord?
I do.
I can.
I can.
Oh, okay, you
Yeah.
both do. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Hell, I thought you were a
Nice.
mod too there, Ben.
Me? No.
No, okay.
Yeah, Kalila also agrees. I just asked, so. I
To be
think
honest,
you're
I'm kind
free
of in. Oh, sorry.
free
go
to
ahead.
add the channel.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So yeah, I mean,
Why am I in the dark?
if we could at least, I mean, even just trying to document this API, I mean, that would go a long way towards aiding implementation.
So, what do you suggest for documenting it? Would you do that in a wiki page or?
I don't know, Tara. What do you think? I mean, we do have the wiki that Fluffy's hosting. We could just do stuff there.
And make a section on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could work.
And speaking of which, something that's tied into this is Toys. I saw you have a PR regarding the Metaverse
Sorry about that.
API.
Yeah, that's
Um,
just Kalila's work, and I helped a little bit on that.
And is that just for? Is that a patch just for the interface, or is that like the whole shebang?
I think that's the interface only. Well,
Okay.
depends on. Yeah, well, it's not like there is any UI yet to set that setting, so
Mm.
I'm waiting a bit
I
on more information with that PR.
I have a question about that PR.
Okay.
Why not just use the setting in the current network constants file to just set it globally instead?
Sorry, in which file?
So there's a file called networkingconstants.cpp and .h, and those define the Metaverse API URL.
Yes.
Why not just use the setting in that location so that you don't have to change so many different files?
Because those are constants. And
You have to
changing it to
recompile.
something,
Yeah.
changing it to something dynamically, you would have to make it different anyway.
I mean, you could just remove the constant flag and
Yeah, just redefine the
that.
variables, basically, right?
Yeah, but
You
the
don't have
file
to
name
change the
also,
names,
the
just
the
remove the
file
constant.
name also wouldn't make sense anymore then.
I mean, that could be changed, but I just was wondering
But
why.
yeah, but then you would still have to change a lot of things if you change the file name. So
Well, come on, let's see what we can break.
Yeah, I
Just
think it's
kidding.
best to try to maintain some sort of structure, in the code. Make it too messy and it's going to bite us sooner or later. It looks messy enough as it is, really.
Yeah, it actually is pretty messy. I mean, we're
Well,
probably
I
going to
mean,
wind
I've
up
seen
having
worse,
to.
but yeah, it's not the prettiest thing either.
I mean, we're
You're
probably
talking
going to have
about.
to
Sorry, I was gonna say you're
clean
talking
that
about the high
up.
fidelity code in general. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, were you talking about the high fidelity code in general being messy?
What about a little bit? I would say.
Okay.
I've been fighting a bit with a small change I want to make, and it's just kind of not really meshing very well. Uh, so since I was, what was his name? Uh,
Brad.
uh, Sam, maybe.
Graphics
He's
guy.
been speaking a lot in the channel. Maybe he can give me some sort of feedback. I think he worked on 3D, the 3D part of it, right?
Yeah, Sam was graphics.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
Someone's speaking in chat, by the way.
Uh huh.
Which chat?
And you can use either chat. The main tab on the new chat is
Oh,
the
domain.
same chat
Okay.
as the normal chat.
Hello, Lenny, wherever you are.
Yeah, Project
Yeah,
Apollo is being done in C Sharp, Lenny.
I'm
So,
I'm
Yeah,
here.
that's
Howdy,
the one
Piper.
on GitHub.
How's my audio?
you
Sorry I'm
sound
late,
fine.
folks.
Nice.
Oh, you
Sounds
sound
great.
fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, good
I
to
just
hear.
feel like I'm so far behind out of what's going on. I just didn't want to bog down the discussion in what everybody else knows. So I figured I'd just text some things
Oh,
and
no, you're
people
welcome to
react
join
to
the
it.
conversation. Yeah, thanks for showing up.
Sure.
Yeah, if you're here, then that must mean that. Wait, what day is it? This is the Maker meeting, right?
Yep, it's Monday.
Yeah. Do you know how to make anything? Because if you
Uh,
do, you can come join us instead, maybe.
You don't. Well, no.
I
There's
think
no
he's good
real.
anyway. Yeah. No.
I can
You
Well,
have
make
to be a
things, but
maker
they're
to
can
not
you
do it.
make a
creative.
mess? Can you make a mess? Because I can do that. That's why I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
If
He
you
can
make a
make
that we
he
can
mess,
do
can
quite well
definitely
around here.
make sounds with his voice, right?
oh, there you go. Then just come here.
Beep boop
I've
bop beep
done a
bop
lot of
beep.
web programming, but my primary language is Java.
Ah.
I don't know JavaScript very well, but I've done a lot
Oh,
of C and lots of languages
Hmm.
over the
Hmm.
decade.
Doesn't that cause you problems at parties, and social events?
Because nobody else talks about Java.
Well, just nobody talks Java. you know?
Yeah.
just go to Starbucks.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
that's it. That's it. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
Okay.
coffee.
So the Metaverse API is a huge hurdle. Not only do we have to implement our own API, but as we're kind of finding during this discussion, there's so many places we have to make sure point to the right place. I mean, the domain server, the interface, all of those scripts in the interface, they're all sprinkled with their own constants for the metaverse, for example. Um, it's yeah, we have to make sure we track all of those down and make sure that they're all able to point to an API that we desire.
How do you find them?
I grepped the source code.
Is it like in the C plus code, or is it in
It's
the?
in C++, it's in JavaScript, it's in QML, it's in JSON files, it's in header files, it's everywhere.
And you look and
It's
then you look
helpful.
for a URL. You look for URL, then or not?
I searched for two things. I did a grep for the metaverse.highfidelity.com, and I also grepped for /API/v1.
Why?
Because those two things, because not everything directly references the metaverse AP highfidelity.com.
Yeah, but why B1? API
I don't know.
slash
You'd have to ask
B1.
Hi-Fi because that's apparently there's just version 1 of the API.
Oh, okay. Oh, V1.
Mhm.
I thought you were saying B. I was
No.
like, why B? What does the B have to do with this?
So the other thing I've been up to is I want us to be able to have an installer. I think it's really important that we have a proper install, well, at least a semi-proper installer for people who self-host domains and things. I think that was one of the most awesome parts of High Fidelity, and I don't want people feeling that they're up a creek if we just dump zip files on them and say, "Hey, you're on your own to set this up." So I've gone over the installer, and basically branded it for Project Athena for now. It still includes that's another area actually where it touches the Metaverse API, so that needs to be fixed at some point. So it's still using High Fidelity's Metaverse API, and it's using High Fidelity's little system tray launcher, which we intend to replace at some point, but we're just not there yet.
We can just
and I
use
think
the. What's wrong with the history launcher, by the way? Can we use that?
we could use that. We could go in and rebrand everything and change things in it.
Yeah, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. I mean, it allows
and for
people kind of an
now,
entryway into the whole mess, right?
well, and for
And their
now,
own sandbox, you know.
For now, since the Hi-Fi API isn't going away for at least for existing users, it's kind of the only game in town. So yeah, I'm packaging that too for now until we have a replacement. So, and I'm happy to even if we don't have like a build server to generate that, I'm happy to create the installer that we can distribute.
Something I want to quickly mention is Visual Studio, and I know not all platforms are gonna be able to use this, but at least for Windows, we could use the built-in installer generator. Wix.
Yeah,
we already have an installer, so
we do. Well,
recommend.
there's that, and there's the fact that the installer, like I tried setting up a Visual Studio installer project, and it's honestly not. It's actually very limited. It doesn't know how to do things like pull in dependencies without you manually telling it. You literally can't just say pull in this folder, for example. You literally have to do it file by file, which is super annoying. I know.
Dear God, yeah.
Because believe me, I was
yeah.
looking at,
come on,
I looked
guys.
at that. I looked at Wix.
There aren't that
I'm
many,
like,
are there?
I was like, well, let's do. I was like, okay, well, maybe we could make our own installer. But after looking at all that, I'm like, you know what? There's already an installer. It works. We can change it to our, desires, and so I've done that.
Cool.
Excellent.
Basically, it was just a matter of changing, names and
Images.
some graphics and removing things like Google Analytics. They literally had Google Analytics on every button click in the installer.
Oh, damn. They're just tracking it all. That's great.
Well, it makes a certain amount of sense, right? You want to know how people use the installer.
Market research,
somebody gets stuck somewhere. So
yeah. And I didn't remove it. I commented it out. So it's still in there. Same with I removed the slideshow they had in there. But the code for it, if we want to do our own slideshow, the code's still in there. I just commented it out. So
one thing that might be an idea is to put in a thing that reports back how many people install it, just for metrics.
Maybe.
So you guys just don't care how many people install it. We're just gonna be like, hey.
Only who download it, installing, we don't care.
Like, this is us we're talking about. We will know how many people are using it because they'll be here. Okay. Like, let's see. What if we got a dozen people around the table right now? Yep. Huge user base.
Yeah, and then the other problem with the system tray launcher is we right now, like I said, it reaches out to the Hi-Fi API, and that includes things for like interface updates. So I think at the very least, I'm gonna try to switch out branding in that and try to make it so that it looks. Once we've decided where we're gonna host stuff, host installers, mimic whatever they're doing only on our hosting.
Mm-hmm.
I assume they just have like an XML file or something they check against.
Okay.
Is this a good time to talk about something else for a second?
Sure.
Do it to it.
Okay. Do we currently have any way of tracking who's doing what?
We have
Well-
Discord basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
Well,
So
if
how
it
do
was
you-
organised, we probably would have put cards on the Trello.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was gonna
But,
ask.
you know, community efforts.
I was gonna ask, how do you feel if I were to create a spreadsheet and I would list all the important pieces that need work, and then anyone who is contributing could basically add their name next to.
But there are other systems for that, right?
Yeah, there's the Trello.
You're
We could do that
you're
in Trello.
basically
Okay.
talking about Trello, but in the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no need for
There you
it.
go. So yeah, why
Back
make
to
extra work for
95.
yourself?
Okay.
But
Well,
spreadsheets are awesome.
Spreadsheets rock. You can make art and stuff.
I dumped a book on SuperCalc yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I update Trello when I work on something, and
Yeah.
I was thinking we could have something in the wiki about like profiles, like personal skills, things like that, things we can do maybe.
Oh shit.
Or
Actually,
things
that's
we are interested in.
Yeah, I like that idea for a number of reasons. It's informational for us. Plus, it helps give the project an air of professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are you guys mostly talking about the in progress bar right now, like for who's
Right.
doing what?
Yeah, that's what the Trello is for.
So
Okay.
one of my
No, I
questions
mean
would be,
specifically within Trello. I was looking at the in progress.
Yeah.
can I just say, this seems more like a dev meeting than a maker meeting, doesn't it?
Well, welcome to
It's
the new era.
Yeah, you weren't here when I said it at the beginning, but pretty much all of our meetings ever since the fifth,
Yeah, even the
they made
salon
their
yesterday.
Yeah.
have been focused on,
Where are we going from here?
where we're
Yep.
going
Okay,
concern.
so but
right.
this is a temporary thing, I presume, right?
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
Oh,
Eventually,
certainly.
The dust settles, and
we don't want to
get
scare
back
people off who are not.
Well, no, and that was another thing that came up yesterday is we got to start doing other things that aren't just, this, in here if we're going to attract anybody,
Yeah.
This is awesome for us, but we're certainly not going to get any new blood.
Hello, I came here to use the software. It's what is this coding you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
This game sucks.
Is he right? What do you do?
How do I win?
This mirror sucks.
That they
God,
do.
not
That they
fun.
do.
So guys, I may suddenly run out of CPU because I'm going to just build this in Visual Studio. So let's see how this goes. Yeah.
All right. Cross our fingers
Well,
for you.
Hold our breaths.
So, are you guys willing to go ahead and add what you're currently working on into the Trello so we can all kind of
Yeah.
keep track?
Yeah, and I think
already
I've
in
been
there.
spectacularly bad about that.
Okay. So just to clarify again, are we putting that under in progress?
Makes sense to me.
Yes,
Okay.
it's in progress.
By the way, if you guys want me to include links in like the video descriptions, just send me whatever you've got. Fluffy's tired of listening. We've got 30 seconds.
No, this isn't me.
Nope, somebody else going with
I'm
the
not-
Jeopardy bit.
I'm not even tabbed in.
Do. Oh dear.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to wrangle people. So.
No,
Do your
and
thing, man.
you're
No, you
right.
do. Yeah, honestly, Ben, you and Marcus have both been kicking ass. I'm glad to see so many of you coming back. In our darkest hour, and hanging around.
I gotta say, way more credit goes to Marcus and actually Dale and actually everyone here, honestly.
Well, and Kalila and Humble Tim who aren't here. I know have been kicking ass and doing
that
their
too.
stuff.
I've just been
Maki and
acting
Caitlin,
as
I
cheerleader.
understand, are doing awesome shit. I'm just here because I'm always here. God, I swear I showed up just in time for this place to reach its highest heights and then go to shit. I've been here just about a year. No, a little over a year. Yeah, just Halloween last year. Meh.
Well, at this rate, it just keeps going. We're going to need some relaxation time, so maybe we can get to watching movies.
That would be nice, right? Everybody get back to just chilling out and having fun. Yeah, dance parties, woot. Who needs pants?
I have a question. So I cashed out my money at the HFC, so I got like $700.
No? Oh, nice.
If I want to use that for buying like a NAS server and putting it at my home, is there a solution that you can safely host domains from that? I always like
I'm
Docker
not
and that kind of
sure.
stuff.
I'm not actually sure if a NAS would be powerful enough, to be honest. I mean,
Most
if it
NASs
was like a
are
top of the line one.
yeah, most NASs are not computationally powerful. They're designed to be, if you're getting a good one, they're designed to be fast with
moving data around.
networking and
yeah, they're more for
drive access.
I mean, if you get like a top of the line one that's like $500 odd, then those are basically mini PCs with hard drives attached.
What would be the recommendation to do then? What would be?
That's what
So
servers are for.
so
if you have $500 or whatnot, you can just use hosting. I mean, $20 per month. That's a reasonable server. And it's cheaper, and it's probably you can upgrade after a year or two to something more powerful. So
Yeah, you'd pay that in electricity probably if you went and bought a rack server or something,
Oh sure, yeah.
I currently have a DigitalOcean account, which I also use for those kind of things. But
That's what this mess is running on.
Yeah, my domain is also running on that, but that will stop, so to say. So I was thinking about the home solution, but I don't know really how to do it. I'm not like a server.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of network configuration and stuff you're going to have to deal with. Just opening ports and things like that.
Yeah, I know a little bit about it.
Nothing too
for
terrible.
A number of years, I've used a little. Well, it's like a NUC server. It's a gigabyte bricks. It's just a little teeny box, and
Excuse me, what are you doing down here?
It uses less than 90 watts. I mean, from the wall, so I can't imagine that it really draws more than about 50 watts or even 30 at idle.
Wow. Right.
And I leave it on 24/7, and there's no, I don't think it uses enough power to even hardly even notice it. But it works fine for hosting hi-fi on. And you can get them for fairly cheap, actually.
For my provider, I can get like 500 Mbit up and down.
That's nice.
That's why I was thinking, maybe I could host something for myself because the speed probably won't be a problem.
Yeah, the thing is, when I looked into hosting stuff in DigitalOcean and S3, to get a good machine with an SSD and stuff that you could have instant access to, they end up charging you enough so that personally, I would rather buy the hardware myself and just have it at home. Now, the issue is though,
you're always going to be better off, buying it and hosting it yourself. I mean,
the only
these people are looking to make money. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem I see though is if you have something that's very popular, then you're talking about, you're going to suck up a lot of your bandwidth.
Oh, sure.
That's a whole other issue. But even so, it might be worthwhile just getting another you know, another line into the house rather than paying for, you know, $20 to $40 a month for something on the cloud, or even more, you know, for big ones. But anyway, that's just my.
So the digital, what I heard about the digital ocean is that you can scale it easier, huh? I think, or not than
Yeah, you
Well,
can,
yeah,
but
if you need, additional bandwidth and stuff, as long as you're not the only thing you can't downgrade back from is hard drive space. From what I've experienced anyway on DigitalOcean,
Mhm.
you can bump up the CPU and RAM on any given machine as much as you need to. But if you bump up the hard drive speed, you can't back down because you bought into that drive basically.
Mhm.
yeah, but aren't the cheap ones at DigitalOcean, aren't they all virtual machines?
I
And
would assume that the whole mess is VMs, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't look too
It's all
close.
well,
virtual machines, really.
Yeah.
the what I wonder though is how much latency is involved in one of those actually coming online when it's not being used.
Virtual machines are very high end right now. I mean, it's they start quickly. They work with good performance since CPUs have acceleration for it. It's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, except that you don't know who's sharing that one with you, and so when things go bad, there's no way to figure out what.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
where the fine print comes in.
Yeah, you have to read what are you buying exactly.
Right, but that
Uh,
that was what my issue was, because I started looking at the different costs for these things,
No.
and to actually get a dedicated one that was guaranteed with an SSD and
Yeah,
this
well,
and
at that
that
point,
on
yeah,
it.
you may as well have your own extra
Yeah,
computer,
then it starts
and be
costing
running
a
it
lot of money.
yourself. Then you can literally, do what you need to with it. Yeah, you're running part of a pretend computer, that's being split between a dozen people. Um, yeah,
so
it's
an
not
extra
quite the
computer
same.
would be the best solution to do it.
Yeah,
to
your
be
own
fair for
dedicated
bandwidth,
stuff.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, right now bandwidth is where hi-fi is really resource heavy. You don't really need a very powerful machine to run a reasonable domain at this point.
And how about security? Because if you host something on DigitalOcean, okay, if that gets hacked or something, then yeah, okay, you don't do anything. But if it's your home computer, then it's something else.
Well, yeah,
Well,
it's up to you to keep, make sure everything's up to date and you're not doing silly things with,
Yeah.
having
yeah,
all
but
your
I've
the
been
other
in
ports
thing,
Darling's
exposed and
computer.
the other thing
Uh,
though is it
we
depends on
we
how
have
you
so
set
many
up your
hackers in this
network.
room. Come on. Yeah.
No, she's had a domain on her PC before.
Oh yeah. Several.
Yeah, so I've
Yeah.
been in Darling's. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a
Yeah.
Silverfish computer too.
I've hosted a few of you guys in mine, whether you knew it or not.
Who's turning into a bird?
Oops, sorry, I didn't realize I was. Yes.
Oh,
Wait, is that a bird?
certainly sounds like.
No, it's a toy that I found that I
Oh, cool.
had when
Oh,
I was little. It's a wooden thing with a metal thing in it, and you turn it, and it makes bird noises.
Oh, neat.
huh.
Yeah. I've been looking for some of those that you like turn it upside down and it makes the sounds. Yeah, there's some really really weird, interesting ones. I've seen at old toy stores and stuff, but you don't see those anymore. That's cool. Sorry.
Yeah, I found it in a box. So
Awesome.
It's
anyway,
older than me.
so
A
I
lot
wanted
of
to ask
things
you about
are.
something.
What's that?
Well, it's been rolling around in my head. One of the things I don't like is nomenclature wise. I don't like the word domains.
Okay.
Um,
Should we
it's
call
just
them
it's
places
a
instead?
well, places would work, or just simply
simulators.
worlds.
Spots, worlds,
No,
sure.
no, 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 no. No, I just want something that's comfortable and familiar for people. Like it's I
Mm.
mean, because that's what it is in the end. It's a world server. isn't it?
Well, one would hope. But let's do we have the potential and creativity to allow people to actually create worlds? We
as long
should.
as
That's the whole idea. Sorry, go ahead.
and as long as your world fits inside a 32 kilometer cube.
Which I think most worlds would.
Yeah, it's really
But,
not asking a whole lot. It depends on what. Yeah.
So should
We're
we
not
call
going to do
them
a space sim.
asteroids? We'll call them asteroids. That's about the size they are, right?
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
I think
Well,
we
I
need
just-
to. I think we need to think about what happens when we connect them and what would we call them and how would we do it and why would we call it like that? If you have multiple worlds in the same domain or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
Well, let's simply consider them connections, period. Whatever you're connecting, you're going to be connecting it.
We're already calling.
We've got other something. Oh, never mind. All right.
Spaces.
Spaces, sure. Spaces,
I know
places.
all I know is that if you tell people they can run a domain, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, at best, your web nerds will be going, oh, okay, I understand. It's all under this one umbrella.
Is it a 4A domain or
Yeah, you're going to have to work on your SEO
redirect
here, pal.
DNS?
Yeah, it's a 404, derp not found.
Yeah.
Just call it realm and double down on the mythology thing. Oh, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah,
People do
let's
mad.
go ahead and put a double L in there. We can lamify it while we're at it.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know that it's. I'm not picky about the terminology as long as it's something that people get.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make it make sense.
Domain does sound very cold.
Nests.
Oh, I don't know about that. They're going to expect mothering if we put them in nests, and that's just not going to happen. I've met us. Okay.
World or space are probably the most straightforward.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, world or
I saw
space
green,
makes
I
sense.
think world or space. Are probably the most
Oases.
Yeah, I like
multiverse.
straightforward.
When you say domain, though, I honestly just think of a DNS server. So.
Yeah.
I think space is a better word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything
like
is
space.
better than domain.
Yeah, let's call it MySpace. No, wait, shit.
Realm.
No,
I said
your
realm
space.
already.
Yeah, I'm going
I was
realm.
teasing though. But
I like space because for
Realm
one
is
thing,
nice, and
it
it's
can
got
be
some
variable
majesty to
size.
it. I like that. It's got
Yeah.
got kind of a cool weightiness. Realm
course,
makes
people
sense.
think of Minecraft.
Well, sure. Or medieval kingdoms.
How about we just focus on getting the bloody thing working?
Probably be a good idea. Cart and the horse and all that.
No, it's just there was a lull in the conversation. It's something I've been rolling around in my head.
I like it.
So I thought I'd ask.
Well, can you
what
roll it
about,
into a box marked for after the 12th? No.
Only if you can, because it's not like
14th,
you're
no,
always on track,
15th.
Mr. Floof.
What? What do you mean? I'm 100% on track for right now.
Hang on,
It's
let
not
me
my fault the track ends
message
up going
Chaos and
through
see if we can borrow her boxing ring. You guys have the
loops.
foot trackers, right? Can kick each
what
other's
about,
ass in a
what about,
minute.
like a Tim's beacon. Is that a good idea? Just to have everybody transmitting to the other people?
I like the beacon.
I mean,
it's an emergency
think the-
backup, right?
Yeah,
I like it. You should be able to choose what
idea.
information you're
Yeah.
transmitting, but yeah.
Yeah, but you could do that.
Very opt-in and yeah.
You could
Yeah,
also
precisely.
like do it with domains and that kind of information. What domain
Oh,
names are
absolutely.
there.
I mean, a lot of what the Metaverse API does is really comes down to discoverability, whether it's for people or for spaces.
It
So,
is like a decentralized thing too, eh?
There's one thing though that I want to point out, and I've always felt like the private domain option that High Fidelity has just makes it feel very isolated. Like you don't know if there's a bunch of people in private
Well, that's not an option that's going to go away, is it?
Yeah, I don't think you can really mess with
You
that.
can't remove
I mean,
that.
People are going to want it either way.
It's just like shutting off the beacon, like on Tim's app. If you enable it or disable it, you're sending or you're not sending. When you're not sending, you're private, and when you're sending, then everybody knows that you're there.
I mean, I think
Are you
one of the things.
are you on about like close off domains that only certain people can go to?
Well, I think it's. I mean, right now we've had up to now. It's like you can just be
Well,
private,
I
or
am
you
more
if you
on
have
about
a.
the domains that just don't even appear because they are
Like
closed off.
temporary ones.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
And temporary ones too.
And that should remain that way.
What I'd like to see is, and because I know that sooner or later
Well, I don't
somebody's going
agree
to
with the
overhaul
temporary ones.
the server console,
Yep.
is to. I'd just like to see a checkbox in there. Do I want to be discoverable?
Yeah.
Yes
But
or
I
no?
think we could apply that to temporary ones too as well, so that temporary ones
Here's
can
an
show
idea.
up in the go-to if people want them to.
I like the discoverable thing.
Yeah.
So
Here's
what
an
are
idea,
temporary
real
ones?
quick.
That's a good question. Go ahead,
Temporary ones
So-
were an incentive to pony up $20.
Yeah, but we
exactly.
don't need to
Oh,
pay
wait,
for
hold
them
on.
anymore, so.
I know.
What's
Let-
I
our,
know.
let
what's
Tara
our,
say
Guys,
her
I
thing.
have an idea.
Yeah,
Roxy.
Tara's got an
Uh,
idea. Tara, terrible at names. But yes,
Oh my god.
pray continue.
So, what about if you want your place to be unlisted and private, have it set to a temporary place name? But
No,
if you want it
hang
to
on,
be...
hang on.
Can we just hear
No.
first?
I just think I think this is backwards. I'm gonna.
But can she finish making
I'm-
her
You could
comments?
at
yeah,
least let her
and then we'll listen?
finish.
Okay.
If you want your place to be public and accessible, then set it to a custom name. And I mean, it can be public and still have an access list and have a custom name as well. Just, I mean, we're not really going to be charging for place names like High Fidelity was. So that's why I'm suggesting that.
Why aren't temporary place names just show up in the list if it's
Well-
a public server?
Well, here's the thing. Well, because they want people to pay for them.
Well, yeah, that's why
but-
High
Yeah,
Fidelity
but-
did
where
it.
they're
But
making money.
Here would be my suggestion is, I mean, when people first start off and they fire up their server, it's not going to have it's probably going to have a temporary name. And I think it's smart by default to allow them to opt in to whether or not they want that temporary name to be visible.
I would want it to be that it defaults to opt out. You have to select.
Yeah,
opt
you
in.
you should have to
Yeah.
sign up to be listed, kind of thing. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
As you're
Not
setting
catch
it up,
people
though,
by
you could
surprise.
Just have a prompt that says
have a prompt,
Precisely. Yeah.
yeah.
Let them opt in, as he's saying. Yeah, that makes the most sense.
I think the whole idea of it being discoverable is the right sort of way to go, because nowadays most people with phones, when they set their phones up, it does say, do you want to make this device discoverable? So people probably already
Yeah.
understand what it means.
Sure.
The
Yeah,
terminology.
but that's
in
an
use, I
option
agree.
that you select.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
We should
see-
probably make it
in-
part
in-
of, like, the main server already has a setup wizard, right? We should probably make it part of that.
Yeah, I'd
wait,
definitely
hold
make
on.
it a prompt that you give them when they're setting up, and installing
But-
basically stuff like that. Yeah, or at least first
But
experiencing it.
right now, if you're allowing people that aren't signed in, or you're allowing people that aren't your friends that are just signed in, it shows in the Metaverse API. It shows to everybody that they can come there. If you're not allowing people that are signed in, or it doesn't show it, why not continue on that path where we do it the same way but have temp names that are automatically generated show up there as well into you? Because if you want those people not to be able to come to your domain, you just have it, they have to be on the whitelist. And if the whitelist has their name, then they can come to that. I don't understand, like it.
Well, I think there's an idea there for sure, but I think that's a future item, an
It
enhancement,
just-
if you will,
it-
once we get the more basic stuff hammered out.
Like right now, the servers basically, do you want people to be allowed to come to your domain? If you do, it shows up in the list. If you don't, it doesn't show up in the list. It just seems like a smarter way to go. It's
I
already in
think
there.
I think how the system needs to work is literally just for right now, as basic functionality, all it needs is a tick box to say if the server should report its data to a central go-to location that we can all see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be right
And
back,
then
guys.
from there, you could probably query the metaverse further to narrow down domains that you have access to by asking
So-
the domain through the metaverse, like, hey, can I go there? No? Okay, I won't show you them.
Hmm.
But until then, we just need the basic systems.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
it should be simple and easy. And yes, I want to be seen. No, I don't want to be seen. It should just
Yeah.
really be that easy. And
Mhm.
I do like the idea of being able to like say, well, I only want these certain people to be able to see it. But I think that's a future enhancement.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just worried about backwards compatibility. If you break backwards compatibility, you constantly have to update servers and stuff like that.
That's why we just have the base system first, and sometimes you have to update servers anyway. We've been having to do it for all protocol changes anyway, so
But that
not like
process was
it's
kind of
nothing new.
easy, yeah. I hope that will not go away. The updating of the server
The
was
what?
actually quite. The updating of your server was actually quite easy. How Fidelity did it. Click this link and it works.
Yeah, that's for the cloud domains only, you mean?
There was
No, no,
a
also local also.
Oh,
Yeah, local has some of that, and we do want
Yeah.
to make that happen. Yeah.
since
Yeah.
I heard protocol mentioned, I just want to quickly say there was a thing I suggested to High Fidelity a while back to have it where if you try to go to a domain that has a protocol mismatch, then have it send you the updated binaries and update in place if the signatures on those binaries match.
That sounds.
That way you wouldn't have to actually update the client.
I think giving the option to an update path is an excellent one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like on TeamViewer or something. That you have that too, right? Yeah. And somebody on the other side is using a new version. They want to upgrade.
Wait, hold on. Do you mean it forces you to upgrade, or
No,
No,
it
not
gives you a choice.
No.
you would be able to go to any domain at that point and it would just update the libraries in place, so you don't need to close down the client, update it to a new version, and then start it back up.
Yeah, that would be very tricky, really. I don't think that's going to work.
Oh, it would be tricky, but I suggested it to them a long time ago to make it easier for people.
That was
Would that
another reason
mean
why I was looking at so many different installer options, because I'll admit I had the idea of in-place patching
But by the way,
as well, but it's just
in-place
it's
patch on
something
Windows
that's
anyway. At least it's very difficult because Windows locks open files, so you just
yeah.
have a lot of problems with updating while something is running.
if it updates me on the fly and I go to your domain, you have a newer domain, but then I go back to my domain, then wouldn't it break me going back to my old domain?
I think that for now, the current update process, where it's like if you log in, there's a newer version. It tells you, you download, it shuts down the interface, it installs, it restarts. I mean, I think that current method works fine for now.
Because
I'm not saying we shouldn't explore more glorious options, because hell yes, but for
in
now
my
it
head,
works.
in my head, I'm seeing in my head, I'm seeing I go to a friend's domain that has a newer version of it. Then it updates my interface. I go back to my older version, my older server, and then, oh shit, I'm now a protocol mismatch with my own domain that, it's like, son of a bitch, it updated it for me and I didn't want to update.
we need to work towards a way where we avoid protocol mismatches by
nice.
reinventing how the protocol is put out there.
Well,
So you can disable certain parts of the...
Yeah, there should be some negotiation scheme.
Yeah, but I don't think we're anytime soon from having a different protocol. We have to have clients first, and
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, instead of this whole auto downloading whatever, I think it's better to make a better protocol that prevents you from having to update every single cycle.
Yeah, I
Or
mean, it
not
sounds like
having.
it's. I mean, I'm not very familiar with the protocol on a low level, but I mean, it does sound like you're just talking about feature negotiation.
Yeah.
I've put either way. I've put Tower's idea in a card on Trello and a column called "Ideas for Later Discussion"
Cool.
because it might be
Cool.
something that we want to talk about after everything's running smoothly. I couldn't find you on there, Tower, so I couldn't like make you a member of your own card, but
That's probably because I don't have an account on there yet.
oh well.
Oh, we need
maybe
to
you
invite
should.
you. We need to invite you because it's a private board. Let me get you an invite.
I think it went away.
Hmm?
I have to
There's
remember
an
how to do
invite on
invites.
top of the Trello channel. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Has anyone been noting down all the ideas that have been said?
Oh, it's pinned, by the way, so yeah, easy access.
I know, Fluffy. Have you been noting them down?
No, because I can barely remember the last 2 minutes.
So just rewatch all the videos and note it down afterwards.
Yeah,
There you
I'm
go.
not listening to myself. I don't want to go deaf. More, thank you.
That's interesting. Everybody hates their own voice, I guess. But you sound perfectly fine to me.
Just use speech to text thingy on the video, so don't listen to it.
Oh yeah, I can do that on my phone now, because they pushed that to the Pixel 3. The automatic captioning stuff for any audio
Oh
source.
God.
It's great.
You won't know whose idea it is because it probably won't tell you who said it.
That's fine. In the end, it's all a good idea for the betterment of the community, isn't it?
True.
Isn't
Marcus,
it?
Mm-hmm.
are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Are you watching the High Fidelity Discord thingy?
I am.
Okay.
I'm actually creating the channels for Project Apollo right now.
No. Oh no, in the other one, the Caitlin and Mackie, the other one.
Oh,
I don't even think I'm in that one.
Look in general.
Tivoli. The Tivoli.
If we could.
So would there be any way of sort of like creating like a portal between the Tivoli and the Discord? If they are based on the same system?
Probably not.
Eventually, I'd like to see us get our heads together and share what we can share with each other. Right
Yeah,
now,
but
I mean, they've been working on their fork for so long, and they've diverged to a point where it's at the moment neither of us have the time or brain space to get together and to press the pause button, so to speak, and try to merge things. It's just not now. It's just not going to happen.
yeah, I don't think they want to anyway.
Yeah, the design idea doesn't seem to be compatible with that notion. So.
No, but you can imagine like having your avatar, which is sort of like hosted.
Well, that's different to being able to jump in there while you're still in the same client, isn't it? So. My cat eats those things.
Yeah. By the way, while there's still time, I guess I'll I was going to mention what I was been up to, since we have a meeting.
Okay.
So I've been arguing with Sam on GitHub about how to do graphic settings in Hi-Fi a little bit. Actually, I'd like a second opinion on that kind of thing. So if somebody could take a look at that.
I agree with Sam.
And why?
Because I don't think your plan is a good one.
Which is my plan?
The thing about the performance settings, yeah? I've been reading it. I think it's should be, for the time being, left as it is.
Probably, yeah. Set as an option.
Yeah, I think you have to investigate why it's getting too low and maybe come up with an alternative.
Because it's a Xeon processor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably one reason of it, yeah. I'm going to upgrade soon anyway, so that part doesn't worry me very much, but... Okay, so the main point of it is that Hi-Fi in low performance settings actually slows the interface down, and that's kind of weird to me.
You know, I will say most people coming in are going who are like, oh, I need to get better performance, are going to instinctually select low, because that is how video games typically work. They're trying to get more frame rate, so they go into the... So I myself kind of agreed, at least as far as frame rate goes. Not necessarily all the other stuff, just the frame rate selector.
Maybe just update the text that it says lowers the FPS or something.
Well, I guess the real question is why go against the grain?
Because if you set it too low right now, and it would be 60, and you have a low spec PC that can never get to 60 for some reason, it will really make everything invisible dynamically.
Then why not change
the
what
idea would be to disable that, just make it run at whatever it can run. I understand the need for performance scaling on mobile devices, like on Oculus, of course, you do want to maintain a frame rate, but PC, that's much less of it.
I think the problem
I disagree with
Dale. I think the problem is the Hi-Fi will run as fast as it can. There was a point where there was a bug when if you went into VR and then go back to desktop mode, it would unlock the frame rate, and your frame rate could go up to like 400 or something, but it would completely max out your CPU.
Yeah,
Hi-Fi has no idea what is best for it. So
But
I think
I don't think that's related. Okay.
I think what the change that you guys need to make in that thing is, instead of like high graphics, low graphics, yada yada, it needs to be frame rate caps. So 90 FPS, 60 FPS, 30 FPS.
Oh, sure, yeah, what your system can handle kind of thing. Yeah.
So that would make a bit more sense.
Yeah. So
and then the LED system doesn't spaz out.
So Dale, what I've been avoiding doing is making comments on your PR. But now that you've brought it out and slapped it down on the table, I kind of felt like it was a thing that should have been discussed before you went ahead and did the PR.
Why?
Not afterwards, you know.
It's easier to give it a try and see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to...
I mean, if I can't... You have to have in mind that I'm kind of very new in the entire graphics thing, so I'm kind of not very sure about what I can accomplish. So
it's good. It's good to experiment. It's good to experiment.
It's not very useful for me to speak of what I'd like to do, if then I'm not going to manage to do it. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for him not to do a PR. I mean, PRs are requests, but they can either go in or not.
That's fine with
me.
Yeah.
As long as people don't feel like they're being shot down if it's refused, then that's great. You know.
Yeah, you just gotta understand.
If it's refused, then it might be because it's not in line with what we need, or it might.
Well, and hopefully we're
cause some
explaining to people
unholy
why we shut things down
intrigue.
too, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But we
At
just
least
Hey,
to a
it might
it's
point.
time
just
for me
be
to cook
that.
dinner. I'll see you guys later.
Have a good
just
one.
thinking that we
Bye.
See you later. But David wanted to say something, I think,
Yeah, that's
right?
David, please.
Oh yeah, David.
For desktops, well, I have a laptop, I don't have a desktop, so I typically run high fidelity on the low setting so that it doesn't use up lots of battery for the GPU or CPU. So if I put it on low, I don't want a high frame rate. I don't care about graphics. So that's the other. There's the gamer point of view, and there's the general population point of view. They seem to be diametrically opposed in some senses.
But I do agree on that. Maybe there should be more explanation why the FPS is getting lowered, or maybe an indicator of it somewhere.
I
Yeah, I
really
think
think it should
communication
just
is
be
maybe a
changed
problem.
like. I really think it should just be changed to like an FPS selector.
There is. That's the refresh rate in the settings. If you set it to custom, economical, interactive, real time. That's the FPS setting.
What?
The FPS setting is in the graphics setting dialog. Refresh rate.
Custom. Oh, yeah, well, just rename it to FPSs then, instead of whatever the hell it is. Real time, interactive, economic.
Yeah,
What the hell does that even mean?
It could also show a number maybe behind it, like about what it would cap on, if that's available.
And why does it say refresh rate? That's the wrong thing. It needs to be like target FPS or something. Something that's easy for people to understand.
Well, and I know.
I mean, everyone here knows what an FPS is, right?
Hell, just give them the ability to lock and unlock it, and if they want to lock it, give them the 30, 60, 90, as options kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep
Unlocking it should be experimental.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Unlocking should be experimental. Would you like to put a card on the Trello to say that you're experimenting with that? As that is something that is probably good to know, because it's good to know what
maybe.
people are experimenting with.
Sure, I'll update it.
We need like an experimental tasks card or something. I'm not sure how to put that.
What if we just have something called ideas?
Well, it's less of an idea, more of something that's being tried, like an experiment.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I
Or-
think you should put that in ideas. No, I'm kidding.
What about
prototypes?
Yeah, prototypes. Prototypes card.
I'm not sure if
Or an
we have
R&D.
enough columns, but let me see.
Yeah, we have tons of columns.
Just get a
Never
wider
have too many
screen.
columns. Yeah.
Just one more monitor.
I've got 4 in a line.
Oh, Lord. I've got
I'm
2 and I know I'm
call it
slacking. I
R&D.
need more.
And I'm gonna put it... What do we have here? Blocked. I think that was put here by the thing itself. I'm just gonna move that one back there for now.
You do that then.
R&D can go there. Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, because R&D would be after, like, to do, which is, like, things that need to be done. So,
Makes sense.
So yeah, can you put a card under R&D, please? Because I completely
I'll think
forgot
of
what
something
it
to write
is
in
you were
there.
doing already.
Where am I?
Who am
Lost
I?
and confused as usual.
Dazed and confused.
Are you my
I
grandma?
don't even.
Yes, yes, I am.
What big eyes you
Grandma,
have.
I've missed you so much. I thought you died.
Oh,
Oh,
bloody
that's
hell,
your
there's two of them.
there's your build.
Two of who?
Did it work?
Yeah. I'm running. The one in the middle of the table is running the Athena project.
Oh, right.
You're
Is
showcasing.
it? Did you build it in release or debug?
Release with debug info.
Oh,
Ha,
that's fine.
That's useful.
So, yep,
neither.
it's all good. And I think I'll take on the task of fixing it when you start the thing and it says high fidelity at the top. And also that startup screen.
Shouldn't be
It
there.
doesn't-
That's all gotta go.
It
Oh.
doesn't say.
Oh
The
yeah, when
login
you
screen needs to be redone.
no, when you launch it, I think it still says high fidelity first, and then it changes to the
Yeah,
version.
yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also there's that splash screen if you're not logged in, which says high fidelity. We'll fix that
That's
as well.
probably an application CPP somewhere.
Yeah, we'll find it. So I'm going to kill this one.
And while you're at it, please refactor the whole application CPP in multiple files. Thank you.
Shut That's my
Love
old one-liner.
And remember to do comments and Q&A testing as well. Okay, thanks, bye. Oh, and you're not getting paid at all, so you have to pay
Ever.
us for the
Ever.
privilege. So,
Yeah.
so that would be $200 per second, please. Thanks.
Yes, and we are gonna shout at you in every PR.
Going to pay you in
Yeah.
HFC
Oh God,
after,
no.
after January the 25th.
Oh no.
So
Shitcoin.
the lint out of my pocket and some staples.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, I think those staples would probably be worth more.
People still having the problem that sometimes when you start up the interface that your standard scripts don't load.
Standard
I haven't
scripts.
seen it in a while.
I don't think
All of
so,
my
and
stuff has
there-
been so broken for so long, I've given up. Even I don't even know what's normal right now. Yeah. I don't
There,
know.
there is a mechanism in place now which locks the default script.
Yeah, because
So,
of the avatar theft kind of thing, or what?
No, not because of that. Because sometimes people lost their default scripts.
Basinski, does when this happens, do you have Steam VR?
No.
Wait, how are you in VR?
I just start up interface.
Okay.
So
do you use Steam VR?
No.
Do you have an Oculus?
Do you use this?
Yes. But I don't.
Is Hi-Fi on the Oculus Store still?
You don't need to be launching it from there. You just need that plugin.
Yeah, as long as the plugin's there. See, I think maybe there's some timing issues where default scripts loads before.
No, I was wondering if it was the same issue as the audio issue that was fixed, because it might have been causing a halt on the thread long enough to make the local scripts not load.
Well, that's
properly.
that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah.
I sometimes lose all my scripts too, but I will make an effort to actually just figure out when that's happening, and I'll report back. That's helpful.
Please do.
Will do.
It sometimes happens, and then you just reload scripts. But I heard from new users that had that, and they were.
They don't know what to do. Yeah.
No, they don't know what to do.
Silly newbies. Yeah, God, I don't know how long it's been since I've seen somebody
people
new.
People who have made interface, can you go look in the general, please? Just in case Piper has no idea. I don't know what the error is yet. I haven't looked. I'm just saying, because someone, Lenny, is making interface, and they might need help. So, if people want
Oh,
to look and help.
I'm doing that now.
yes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to like have eyes on it in case Piper doesn't know. I mean, Piper might know, but at least then we all have the same answer because then we know that Piper's answer's right.
But it's the right answer, I think.
I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I have no idea what the error is.
The error is that the Git repo cannot be connected with because of some SSH issue. So if you use HTTP, that should get
So
around.
what you're telling me is that Piper is right.
Yes. Probably.
You need to
I
secure your
always use
sockets with
HTTP,
some suspenders.
and I've never had a complaint about a host key verification.
I regret to inform you that he might be right.
I am right.
You hear that, Piper? You're right.
I knew I was right.
You're not
'cause I had
left.
exactly.
You're not.
The reason that I know I'm right is because I had exactly the same error myself earlier. Oh, in fact, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. He's now saying I'm wrong. Damn.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had to generate an SSH key as well because all of a sudden
I don't understand why that
it
is.
caused me an error.
Unless our
untrusted host kind of
preloader
stuff.
is pulling from a Git URL, which I don't think it is.
Your door was already. You're not helping, Toys. Toys. That's the
Is it-
opposite.
I'm helping brightening up the mood.
It's helping. It's entertaining.
Goofballs.
But usually it's Piper that's putting the comments, and you're usually the one trying to help. What
He's
is
my
this
Yeah,
wingman.
well,
He's my wingman.
Oh,
today
okay.
it's the reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've been
that
training
makes
him.
sense.
It's going to get worse.
Oh no!
And
Strap
I've been
in, people.
training him too. It's gonna get better with him.
Yeah. I'm getting better at like battling my way through building hi-fi with, and I have to ask Thoys fewer and fewer questions each time I get it wrong.
And each time I sacrifice a part of my soul.
Yeah.
At the crossroads.
He
I
gives
know
me
that feeling.
shorter and shorter answers each time.
Basinski has stolen the cube.
Oh.
I have no idea whose cube it is. I just found it.
It's a communal cube. It's everybody put a little piece of themselves in there. It's for everybody.
Oh no.
I wouldn't touch it if I were you.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought of a PR that we need to do. We need to change the default color from Hi-Fi Blue.
Who?
To what?
The default color of cubes when you res them is
Yeah,
Hi-Fi
but
Blue.
what color do you want it to be?
Let's go with yeller.
Purple, obviously.
Purple, yeah, I vote purple. Sure.
No,
I did
I
that
don't
ages.
like that.
I did that ages ago,
Magenta.
actually.
I did do it as
Yeah.
well. Like I usually have custom changes in my edit tools, but for some reason it got reverted.
Yeah.
And I just haven't been asked to fix it yet because I'm lazy.
What's bad with the blue one?
I prefer Basinski blue or something, you know.
Yeah, let's have
Something
Basinski blue instead of Hi-Fi Blue.
darker blue.
That'd be right.
So really, our one big act of rebellion, we're going to change the shade of blue. Woo! Fucking Boston Tea Party here, man.
Shiny by default. Just like in Santa.
Shiny by default, sure, yep. Hell.
Yes, I confused him, yes.
Right on.
Yeah, but what's even better is that he's right here listening to us. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hello. I confused you.
So, Lenny,
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, we'll try and walk you through it after the meeting if that's okay.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
It does work, so I've just done it. I was building it while this meeting was going on, and it worked. So.
It's 20 after 3.
remember?
I think we're pretty much in free time now anyway.
Did you remember to set your hi-fi VC package bootstrap
Yeah, you got to do all that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the nightmare I've heard from you guys about that VC package thing just sounds like oh man, just maddening.
No, it works fine as long as you set your environment variables. It's fine.
Okay. As long as you know what you're doing, basically, it works. Okay, cool.
As long as you do this and do that, and you spin around in a circle 5 times.
Yeah. Sacrifice a couple chickens, maybe a goat. Sure.
It's all good.
And a person jumping off a train.
It's so easy. I'm going to
Poor
have
Nova in the train.
I'm going to have Nova building it next week.
Right on.
Oh fuck me! I read the guide and I don't know if I can do that. God.
Oh come on.
Kalina and Tim hard at work, or why are they?
I'll have a look at earlier, see if I can take a route.
Nothing but faith in you, Nova.